You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
Chris, they're on to back.
Welcome to episode number 1 of the episode number 50. Episode number 98 of the episode number 145 of the Battered Heroes podcast.
You know who else is back? Aliens.
Right now, with the whole messy conspiracy, all is set up for him. It's tiring to hear the same garbage and people whining.
Suarez is here. That means I'm here. You're gonna have to deal with
Let
it.
it soak
And
in,
if you don't like
baby.
it, I'm gonna start biting people, bro.
I think he deserves, to be battered.
I've said
think we
worse
might have
things
just-
on the pitch. I've said worse things on the pitch. I mean,
145, this guy. And that's it.
Not gonna lie to you, Solana, you're probably better off just not saying anything.
He said we suck without Messi.
Yeah, we suck without Messi. Like, what?
and happy 200.
We've done this 200 times, Chris.
I mean, after that introduction, I'm doing terrible. I didn't know that, but
What a disaster. This show is just a disaster. I'm not even gonna sign out.
And while you're at it, get that thumb, put it to work, like and subscribe.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris, they're on to back.
Welcome everybody to episode number 224 of the Battered Heroes podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada. Alongside me, I got Mr. KBD and Daniel Solana. Let's start from your left to my right, or my right to your left. Mr. KBD, how are you doing, sir?
I'm a nervous wreck. I don't know how this episode's going to turn out, but it's going to be fun.
Oh, okay. All right. You're
I
nervous?
wasn't expecting
All right.
that.
Yeah, me either. Okay. You're nervous. Okay. Maybe he'll enlighten us in a little bit. Mr. Solana, how are you doing, sir? Shout out, Mitch.
I'm doing
Shout out to
great,
Mitch.
man.
Shout out to
I'm
Mitch.
doing great. Shout out to Mitch. I know he's tuning in because he's expecting a Solana rant. He said it last night. So just to let you guys know, I started off with, I got my beer right here, and I got a special Suarez little beer opener.
Oh, look at that.
You like that?
You know
Is
what?
that not cool?
It would have been cooler if they would have done like the front two teeth.
I know.
The-
But the way you open it is kind of like that, not
yeah,
the other ways.
I understand, but still, it would have been cooler if you could have seen those chompers that he has. And shout out to everybody, Soccer Daddy, Pace Hunter, Francisco. I can't get to everybody, but everybody that joined us, appreciate you guys jumping on with us. And Hammy's already laughing at you. All right. So we're here to talk about a lot, right? We got Leagues Cup that starts tomorrow with Atlanta versus DC. We got a little bit of Open Cup to talk about. We got the Olympics that was quite the mess yesterday. I actually spoke to Joe Shaw. Some of you guys might remember him from the Miami Fusion show that he was doing the podcast for, and he's also joined us to talk some of his FC Dallas, because he's from Dallas. He was actually at that game. He was telling me about it, and we're going to get into a little bit of that and anything else that the chat wants to get into. And we're going to have some call-ins. So if you guys feel like calling in and talking, a little later in the show, we're going to start taking some call-ins throughout the link in the chat. But let's get started. So do you guys want to start? Before we get to Leagues Cup, do you guys want to touch on real quick Open Cup? Because
which cup is that?
the
Is that
US
the one
Open
that
Cup?
everybody's complaining about?
Yes, that is the one that everybody's complaining about. So we
talk
can
about
start with the U.S. Open Cup. So let's get into the U.S. Open Cup real quick, and then once we get done with that, we'll go on to Leagues Cup. And just real quick, and David Martinez as well. We actually had an episode, Solana and I, Cafecito with the Herons, last week, where we basically went in on his career and the lack of play time he's had over the last couple of years. So if you haven't already, go ahead back. You can scroll back. I think it's last week at some point. Episode maybe 218, 219, something like that. And we talk about David Martinez. And by the way, yes, I am under the weather, so I might be on the mute button quite a bit, coughing. But I'm trying to tough through it. I wasn't here yesterday because of it. I'm going to try to tough through it today. All right, so here we go. Open Cup. Now, the thing with the Open Cup, everybody here, if you've been here long enough, you know I'm not the biggest fan of the Open Cup when you want first team to go ahead and play against the amateur teams. If you open up the roster and you let the young guys play, I think F it, go. Like everybody loves, it's the longest tournament in
Longest
history.
standing tournament in North America.
1914, all that. That's fine. Okay. And if they want to keep it, that's fine. Every country seems to have like 2 or 3 tournaments that go on. That's fine. If you tell me that we have to choose between the Open Cup and the Leagues Cup, that's when I say, and very unpopularly, because a lot of people obviously take the other side. If they tell me I have to choose between Leagues Cup and Open Cup, I'd rather have Leagues Cup. Before I get to Solana and before I get to Chris, I did want to put Don Garber's press conference from after the All-Star game. He addressed the Open Cup. Now, I cut it into 90 seconds, okay? I know Chris hasn't watched it. I believe Solana has. But I'm going to cut this into 90 seconds. If you haven't listened to it already, go ahead. If you have listened to it, just bear with me for 90 seconds. Here is the video of Mr. Don Garber addressing the U.S. Open Cup.
We sit down in owner committees and talk about these things and talk about the best path forward that will work for all of our clubs. And the decision we made then was based on Champions Cup qualification and a whole bunch of other schedule dynamics. And there were a handful of clubs that said, hey, you know, we actually would like to participate. But by then it was too late. So that's going to go into the hopper now. We're going to figure out how do we present a plan to U.S. Soccer that will be orderly and will make sense. But again, you know, there were 1,400 people in the stands in Atlanta for the game that they played the other night. That's a big building, right? And opening up that big building that we have to pay for 1,400 people doesn't make sense. I love the legacy of it. Our founder's name is on the trophy. But the tournament needs to get better. And we're not quite sure collectively what we need to do to achieve that. And I say that on behalf of U.S. Soccer and Major League Soccer. For whatever reason, the tournament hasn't resonated enough to be able to drive the value that we hope it could drive at some point. And U.S. Soccer would acknowledge that. And our task is to figure out the right way to manage it over the period of time to determine whether or not the tournament can achieve its goals and whether it could make sense for Major League Soccer teams.
I mean, that's a mic drop comment right there.
No, let me clarify something real quick. That game didn't take place in the Mercedes-Benz. That game happened in Indiana. So 1,400 people, although it's still a very low number, that game did not happen in the Mercedes-Benz. It did not happen in Atlanta. So I don't know if anybody corrected him after that, but that game did not happen in Atlanta. So let me start with you, Solana. What do you think about those comments?
So, you know, I've been a big proponent or a big supporter of the U.S. Open Cup. At least, you know, as you guys have had me on the show and we've talked about the two cups. I was more on the side of the U.S. Open Cup over the Leagues Cup. I was, you know, supporting these people who are saying that the League Cup is a money grab. But let me tell you, over the last few weeks, I've really started to do a little bit of research on both the cups. I've started to kind of think about, you know, if I were the owner of a team, you know, how do I see the value of my team in each tournament? And I see zero value for my team to take part in the U.S. Open Cup, other than the fact that it's the oldest cup in the history.
Which is why people like it, though. That's why people like it. That's
wonderful, Danny. But, you know, and I was talking to Will Forbes last night from MLS Moves, and we talked about this comment a little bit about the issue. Personally, if you're Jorge Mas, I mean, I know it's beautiful, and I know I've said this argument before. It would be beautiful to have Messi and Suarez and all these guys going to play at Birmingham City or at Indy 11 or at Howden FC or whatever, you know, some of these names. Loudon FC, I think is the name. It would be great. But then I started thinking about it. Dude, that guy gets injured. There goes your entire season. Like these are you got to look at them kind of as assets as well, not just players. So one of your assets goes down against Indy 11, God forbid, and there goes your entire season. So I'm with you now. I think the U.S. Cup is cool and should continue to be played as long as you can play the younger players in the first few rounds. And then if you make it to the semifinals, quarterfinals, you know, finals, then you can choose if you want to play your, you know, top players or not. But dude, look at the prize money: $300,000 for the U.S. Open Cup winner, $2 million for the Leagues Cup winner. Look at the eyes on the eyes on the games, not just on normal people, but the scouts. You think the scouts in Europe are going to watch, you know, Seattle, you know, the Seattle Sounders game versus, I was looking it up at the schedule here, who they played the other day, Seattle Sounders versus Sacramento Republic. How many European scouts do you think watched that game? None, probably none. Who's going to watch Seattle Sounders versus America in a couple weeks? You know what I mean? A lot of people. So I'm with you, Danny. Leagues Cup all the way.
I would have meant. Go ahead.
Sorry, Chris. Can I say just one quick thing? I suggest what they could do is you keep playing your teams in the U.S. Open Cup if you didn't qualify for Champions Cup. Like if you qualify for Champions Cup, then you're in Champions Cup. And for anybody that didn't qualify in Champions Cup, then you get put into the Open Cup. I think that's. I mean, why not? I mean, you want if you want the teams to play 2 tournaments throughout the year and make it fair so that everybody's playing the same amount of games more or less. I think that would be a great option, and it gives everybody an opportunity at 2-3 trophies.
Well, and I think you also give a little bit more balance to the parity, right? Because now you have the lesser of the MLS teams
That didn't make the Champions Cup.
Correct. Yes, that are playing in the U.S. Open Cup. Now, somebody had mentioned here, cheaper tickets would help. Football is passion, not a business. In terms of the U.S. Open Cup, my only experience with a U.S. Open Cup match was going to Miami FC. I'm not going to sit here and say I've been to other matches, right? The tickets were affordable. It wasn't outrageous.
They were $10,
right? Yeah, it was affordable, and I think that it was accessible to the public. Now, when we get to Leagues Cup, it's going to be a little bit of a different story in terms of the pricing.
Mhm.
But you're also really not considering the fact that you're getting a better quality competition out of the Leagues Cup versus the U.S. Open Cup. I mean, because frankly, just speaking very openly, it's the second division it's the USL. It's the USL. It's going to be top heavy. There's probably like 4 or 5 good teams in the USL, and everybody else
It's not just USL though. It's USL, NASL, PDL.
Yeah.
So you've got all these other, leagues and local leagues that participate. I one of the teams that I played for, I didn't get a chance to compete because I didn't make the trip, but they played in the U.S. Open. Uruguay Kendo, also Red Force is a local team here in South Florida. They played in the U.S. Open. They've played some of these teams. So, it goes to show you the level. And again, I'm not criticizing. They're good players and good teams, but you're talking about teams with Messi and, Marco Reus and Suarez and now Oliver Giroud. You're talking about players like that, and they're not going to go play at Kendall Soccer Park because that's where, Red Force plays their games.
Look, a couple of things real quick. Gus said football is passion, not a business. Calypso and Mr. Krabs both said it is a business, and unfortunately it is. It's passion for the fans, but for the owners, it's a business. As much as you don't want to admit it, you hate it, there's a reason why they want to participate in the biggest tournaments, because they want to make money, right? So it's unfortunate. It is a business. Now, if you want to say that it's more of a business here in America than it is across the world, yeah, probably. I mean, consumerism here is wild. Like I've said it here a bunch of times. Everybody says, "Oh, but the MLS would never be the EPL." They want to compete with NBA, the NFL. They want to be very popular in this country before they start worrying about the world. And I really do believe that that's the case. And everybody keeps thinking that, oh, MLS, they're going to eventually try to compete with these other. No, they want to compete with the other leagues in this country before they start worrying about the soccer leagues or football leagues around the world.
But I think it's critical what he said in that press conference, the fact that they're trying to build, they're trying to move up in this. And it seems like the U.S. Open Cup is not helping the MLS to excel, right? The tournament with Leagues Cup and Liga MX is helping the MLS to rise in popularity, to rise in quality. And I mean, like I said, you're just not going to get the same quality that you get playing the USL teams versus Liga MX teams. You're not.
Well, it also comes down to who wants to watch it, right? Because the Liga MX teams come over here, and America, Tigres, Chivas, those teams are going to sell the hell out of these stadiums. They could be playing against Sacramento and it would sell out.
Especially that they get to choose their venue. That's the important part this year versus last year that we haven't gotten to talk about. The Mexican teams,
it's only the top 3 or 4 teams, though.
It doesn't matter, though, but it still makes a big difference. Imagine you're America playing in Vancouver. It's a big difference than if you're playing in LA or, in Phoenix or one of Houston. Exactly. So it's a much different feel, and they're able to choose their venue. So
I don't know what they're gonna do about the Open Cup. It seems like they understand the legacy, they understand the backlash that's been occurring, right, because of it. But he's trying to make sense of the fact that business-wise, it just doesn't make sense. And I think that's what he's trying to explain in the nicest way possible, because people don't care, right? Because they don't care about the business aspect. So he's trying to explain it as best as possible without people just being like, yeah, but we don't care, you money hungry bitch. We care about the football. Let's grow this sport in the country, right? So I get it. I get both sides. I get both sides.
Person, by the way, there's only one person, Mike B, that wants to watch that game. But my question, Danny and Chris, my question is, did any of the media that was present question Don Garber or ask, like, okay, Don, you don't want to participate. What are some of your ideas to make the U.S. Open Cup better? Or, he likes to, Don Garber likes to, kind of give his ideas during some press conferences, but the media never challenges him on those ideas, or they don't ask him to elaborate more on those ideas. I don't know. I just feel like they're soft with him for some reason. I don't know if it's because I read somebody responded to me that the media is scared to ask certain questions because they don't want to be, I guess, excommunicated.
Blacklisted?
Yeah. Exactly. But I think that's soft, man. Like, I think the media, if we're going to get to the truth in terms of, getting back to the U.S. Open and making it better, then we need to throw all the cards out on the table, everybody involved, and get our hands dirty and figure out this way. Using those snarky comments that Don Garber is using is not the right way to do it.
This is something that's colossal that I was talking to Danny about, and Pace Hunter's putting it in the comments here. Don, put Open Cup on Apple TV. The fact that Open Cup last year was on like a hidden YouTube channel that I had to give a part of my DNA to in order to have access to not even 720 quality. Like, we're talking about like old school porn channels quality. Okay.
Yeah, but I think the rights are owned by CBS Sports, if I'm not mistaken. And so,
why isn't it on the app? Why isn't it? Why can't I stream it from my TV? Why can't I use my phone and stream it from an app? Why do I have to go
if you had
through
Paramount? But nobody has Paramount.
Well, that's another thing. You're attaching it to like the fourth string streaming service, right?
It's way lower than fourth.
But I'm just saying, look, I watched Paramount because I was watching Real World versus Road Rules at some point, right? Don't ask me why, but I was. And they have Nickelodeon, so shut up, okay? And Nickelodeon is the best cartoon channel in the world, whether you like to admit it or not.
Can't disagree with that.
So at the end of the day, when I have to go through back channels and dark pages and sell a kidney in order to watch a USL game, a US Open Cup game, that's a problem. You're not making it accessible to the consumer.
Well, look, I and we could put a bow on this, but I think that it sounds like even some teams said, like, we want to participate. So next year, it sounds like they're going to try to figure this out and get more MLS teams to participate, if not all the teams. I think the perfect solution is if you qualify for the Champions Cup, you play in the Champions Cup. Anybody that didn't qualify for the Champions Cup, you get put into the U.S. Open Cup. And I think that would be a solution that would kind of work for both. I don't know.
But it's so weird because then it would turn into like the secondary. Like, you're literally telling the U.S. Open Cup, we are legitimately going to make you a secondary league. But your second string is hell.
For example, in Champions League, if you didn't qualify for Champions League, you qualify for the Europa League. Like, there's in soccer, this happens all over the place. In South America, Copa Libertadores and what is it? The Sudamericana. So that happens all over the place. If you don't qualify for the Champions League, you get put into another tournament.
Right. That's true.
So.
Yeah, but that other tournament is also an international tournament. It's not.
No, yeah, I understand.
It's not like the U.S. Open Cup. So the U.S. Open Cup and that style of tournament is meant to be for all teams. For every possible team that exists to have a chance at winning the cup. That's really the whole point of it.
Right. But my point is because and I cut it off, right? Because I wanted to just put 90 seconds. But before the clip when it starts, where you guys started watching, if you want to go back, go check it out. He starts by saying, the conversation of pulling out of the US Open Cup started because of the teams that qualify for Champions Cup.
Correct.
And the congestion. So if you're worried about those teams having to do that and Open Cup at the same time, plus the regular season, then just choose one of the other forms.
Or let them play the guys that play the second division game.
Well, that's what I said also. But could you imagine how upset the Indy 11 would be if they draw Inter Miami and then we pull up there with Eddie Ascuana back when he was here instead of Messi? We give him the Dominican Messi. They're gonna be pissed because that's their money draw. Okay, I understand what you're saying.
That's not my problem, and that's not Jorge Massa. Unfortunately, that's just what you have to deal with. But we can put a bow on this, like you said. But I just want to leave you with one kind of interesting tidbit because you like stats and you like numbers. Both of you do. So I was reading. Did you know that the winner, and I just mentioned this, the winner of the U.S. Open Cup gets $300,000. The winner of the MLS Cup also gets $300,000. MLS signed a TV deal with Apple for $2.5 billion. What the hell is the winner of the MLS Open Cup doing getting paid $300,000? That's a joke. And
because but I'm surprised they even get any money. The NBA teams, they don't get like a huge chunk of money because they won the NBA title. Like that's the goal, is to win the title. Winning the title is supposed to be your moment. Like these other tournaments to give them incentives to try, at least in the United States, then you could put prize money. But winning the league or the championship is supposed to be incentive.
Right, but these other players, in NBA, in MLB, in hockey are making millions of dollars, while the majority of the players in MLS are in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not making less than $100,000. So that prize money for them, is extremely important at the end. And really, if you want to get guys to be playing for something, you got to raise the stakes because, like Messi and Suarez and these guys that are making and have made tons of money their entire lives, like who cares? Like if they win it, great, it's a trophy. But they're not. There's no other incentive other than winning the trophy.
Well, and one of the things I wanted to mention here is, and I have a question because this question keeps getting brought up. Anthony Manzano is asking, Chris, Danny, and Solana, are the leagues in South America disrespected by soccer fans around the world outside of South America, like you will see with the MLS, where they call those leagues retirement leagues? I don't quite understand how this question is structured. Do you, Danny?
Yeah, I understand. So I think what he's asking more so is, do the European leagues view the South American league similarly to how they view the MLS, which is, they view the MLS as a league where old guys go to retire. And the answer is no. And you can see that they see the South American leagues as a big pipeline for young players. And you see that with the signing of Endrick, 16-year-old player. He just signed a contract with Real Madrid. His teammate Estevao on Palmeiras also signed a contract. So for Europe, they think South America. They don't hate South America. They love South America. That's where they go and recruit. And I think the perception of MLS is starting to change. And Danny's been saying it. Danny's been saying it all year long. And he said that it's going to be, a top 5 league within the next 10 years. And it has the potential to be if Donnie and his buddies, work things out the right way.
All right. So now that we got Danny back, and I don't know if you wanted to chime into that question, Danny, but I guess
I don't know what the hell's going on with my internet. So I'll keep moving. I didn't even see what the question was, but I trust that you guys covered it.
They want to know if you have AOL. Yeah, there it is.
That's what it feels like. It feels like my internet is really bad today. And on the Spanish show on Monday, I completely got kicked out also. I don't know what's going on. I'll have to call Comcast Xfinity tomorrow. All right. So
customer service.
Open Cup. So let's move on to Leagues Cup. Leagues Cup starts tomorrow, but I guess we could bridge it. Supposedly, there's going to be a lot of supporters groups that will be protesting. Don Garber is hacking Danny, possibly. Supposedly, there's going to be a lot of supporter groups that are going to be protesting the Leagues Cup because they're upset about the Open Cup. Now, please, in the chat or one of you two guys, please let me know if I'm missing anything. I've seen there's 2 Minnesota teams, supporter groups that are protesting. I believe it's one from St. Louis and Austin. Those are the 4 that I've seen. Are there any other ones that I've missed?
I haven't seen any on Twitter reported to pony up and protest. And Minnesota, I got to give them a lot of props. They're strong with their protests, Minnesota. But no, I haven't seen any others.
Okay. So it's 4 teams that have absolutely no chance of winning it. I don't know if their season ticket includes the Leagues Cup or not, but they're probably not hosting a lot of games. They might host 1 game. So they might protest 1 game, and that's about it, right? Because after that 1 game, they probably don't get any more home games later on. What do you guys think about this protest? I'll start off with let me start off with Chris, because I see Solana is ready to smile here.
So one of the things that I want to mention is where I think that people have a leg up in terms of their discussion about Leagues Cup is obviously we've only had 1 year of this. And that 1 year just happened to be the year of Messi, right? Where he came into the league. Now, why they're boycotting to be able to keep this 100-year tournament, right, alive, I just don't understand all the theatrics. Like, if you're going to protest, right? I mean, you're telling me that, okay, you can respect their protests all you want, but you're going to tell me that the organization isn't wanting this Leagues Cup more than the Open Cup? So, like, you're legitimately boycotting what? You still have jerseys in your closet. You still have signed paraphernalia. You're still going to go to the regular season games.
Gus said and Calypso said Chicago.
No, if you're going to protest, then I'm going to say it in Spanish, vete pa la pinga. Go find another team to go root for Miami FC. That's the bottom line. If you got a problem with the Leagues Cup versus U.S. Open Cup, then you need to take your ass down to Calle Ocho and go support Miami FC since you care about the Open Cup so much.
I think that's silly. I respect that they're taking the only form of protest that they have. I don't think they should. I honestly believe, hypothetically, yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that, Alejandro. I honestly believe that if Austin, say, were to make it to the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and for some reason they were, I bet you those, because we support the players and we abandoned.
Hold on, Danny, hold on. Because you're breaking up really, really badly. So I don't want you to get lost in the sauce in terms of your opinion, because the connection is really horrible. And I'm going to tell you right now, Alejandro, your contribution will for sure go to the new router at the new at Granada's household. Okay. So, I mean, the bottom line is, and Vice City Lucas mentioned here, Vice City Lucas said that he really wants us to go sort of hard in this.
He said, is anybody else taking it or wants Inter Miami to take this as serious as I do? That was his comment. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we talked about it, Chris. We've talked about it on this show. We've talked about it on the Spanish show. We've talked about it on any possible show that all of us have been on, that the goal should always have been to win all 4 pieces of hardware that you can win this season. That being the CONCACAF Champions Cup, the Leagues Cup, the Supporter Shield, and the MLS Cup. Obviously, one of those are done. So yeah, I think you have to go in with the Leagues Cup, but also you have to, you can't just throw everything in there and throw out everything that you've completed up to this point, right? Yeah. Inter Miami is sitting top of the league. A year ago, fans would have clamored to be sitting where they're sitting today. So you cannot just throw that out the window and say, I'm going to put all my players and put all my bag, my eggs into this basket to win League Cup and just throw out the regular season.
Well, and I want to mention something here because Lawrence is asking a question where he thinks he's going to stay undefeated. He's saying how many games Solana went to an Open Cup game. By the way, to an Open Cup game, Lawrence, I actually saw Solana at an Open Cup game. It was actually one of the first times that we kind of linked up It was like the second or third time that we actually linked up one time, and I saw you over there talking to a buddy of yours. And so Lawrence, I've seen it with my two brown eyes.
The first game that they played against Miami FC, it was on my dad's birthday, the first Open Cup game, and I took him for his birthday present. The second game that we played there, the second year where we went to penalties, I was actually credentialed, and I was behind the goal where Kamal Miller scored the goal. So, I mean, I was there. I also went to the games at the Inter Miami Stadium. So I've been to the games. He wants to know how many, like number-wise. I don't know, man. I've maybe been to like 4 or 5 Open Cup games. I've been to one Open Cup game in Birmingham City. That's why I mentioned them so much, because I've been to the game, the Birmingham Legion. So I've been there as well. So I have gone to some games. The games are fun. Don't get me wrong. I've been a big supporter of U.S. Open Cup, but in terms of value, I go with the Leagues Cup. In terms of value, it gives the teams much better, a much better chance at selling their players, showing off their players, just getting, like you said, playing better competition. So I think this whole boycott, to take a book, a page out of WWE, I want to say that the folks that are crying about the U.S. Open Cup are similar to like the Cody Crybabies, all right? And they got to stop crying about that. They got to stop crying about that. And that's not to throw any shade, like folks like to say, or that I'm salty. No, man, you got to just stop crying about it. Go buy your $25 ticket or $30 ticket to Saturday's game. Buy yourself a $16 or $17 beer at Chase Stadium and go support the boys, man. Go support the boys. Chris, can I be honest with you? I think the people that say they aren't going to go, they're still going to watch the game at home.
Well, and that's another
and that's
thing.
Not a boycott. That's not a boycott.
Yeah, that's another thing. If you're going to watch the game at home, you're literally contributing with the money that you either paid for the Apple TV or your season tickets that got you that Apple TV account, right? And then on top of that, there's ads that play during the game, literally going to your brain, right? I mean, there's so many ways that if you truly want to boycott, like if it's a true boycott, like it has to be a complete stoppage of any sort of support, period, point blank. Because whatever you think is happening is way more than this whole MLS thing. Like there's organizations, owners that are behind this, and the same organizations and owners of teams that you guys love. And not just here in Inter Miami, talking about league-wide. So, Danny, while you're not buffering in 144K, go ahead with your point.
Bad. I don't remember what my point was. I think I was saying I respect the protest because that's the only thing they can do. What else are they going to do to protest? That's the only thing they can do. But I honestly believe that if Austin somehow makes it to the quarterfinals or the semifinals, they'll show up. And they'll have a written statement. And the written statement will say, we made our point with the original boycott, but our guys have fought so hard that it would be a disservice that we would be paying to them if we weren't out there and support the hard work that they've done to overachieve and make it this far in the tournament. Tell me you can't see a statement like that. If one of those teams that are getting boycotted were to make a late run, they would go.
100%,
they would go. And they would say that.
100%. And it's bullshit.
And I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to be writing that statement as they're watching the last game on Apple TV.
So I don't know, but I don't
with their jersey on.
I don't dislike the protest because I feel like that's the only voice that they have. No, I'm okay with it.
No, I mean, I'm okay with it too because the tickets are $20 and I'm going to go with my son. So I love it. Like, please start protesting every game. Don't go to any games. Put all your tickets for sale every single game. But Danny, don't tell me that not going to one game because literally you're protesting. That's what
it's going to be.
One game.
Yeah.
So how much money is Inter Miami and Jorge Mas and his family and David Beckham going to lose if 2,000, 3,000 people don't go to one game? Because the casuals that have season tickets are going to go. These are just, the season ticket members who feel strongly about US Open Cup. And you might be able to count them on the, our three, hands or, our 6 hands. But I don't know, man. I just don't think. And I think that that excuse that it's a cash grab, that's bullshit, bro. Every tournament's a cash grab. You're going to tell me the new NBA in-season tournament isn't a cash grab? Come on, man. You're going to tell me the UEFA Champions League isn't a cash grab? they're all cash grabs.
I do think that it's awful to charge $50 for parking, though.
I agree, man. But
I think
I would respect the protest more if they protest the regular season games.
But that's what I'm saying, though, Danny. If you're gonna do it, do it in a big way.
Yeah.
Don't sit here and say, I'm gonna go to your regular season games. I'll go to your stupid US Open Cup games in Sweetwater.
They don't go to those.
Right? But whatever. But no. I'm not going to your Little Leagues Cup game that's brand new.
Because it's one game. Or
So,
it might be two.
what
I
are
don't
you doing?
know. I'd have to check. Some of them might host 2 games. But it's 2 games. Whatever. Look, like I said, I respect the
But
protest.
what impact is being made?
That people are talking about it. Look, we're talking about it. And Don Garber's hearing about it.
Okay.
That's the
people
point of
can
these protests.
Listen, the whole point of protesting is that 95% of the people that want to protest do this. They talk, right? A lot of people are talking about it, right? But
I want to see one of those teams make it far just to see if they really don't show up, if they end up hosting a game. That's what I want to see. Because if they don't, then it falls on deaf ears. If you hit me with I want to support the guys for how hard they've worked this tournament, and it would be a disservice to them if we don't go and support them. But this in no way means that we're supporting the Leagues Cup. Like, that's what I want. But I don't know if that's going to happen, because with the teams that were named that are the ones that are protesting, the Red Bulls are probably the only one that I've seen that maybe could make a run. Outside of them, I don't see any team making a run or hosting a game. So we'll see. But I think it would be cool if they did that and they really didn't show up for like a semifinal, because then people would talk. But I don't see it happening. And one more thing. I think that saying that Vice City or Southern Legion and I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the other ones right now off the top of my head, but saying that they should do it and being disappointed because they're not doing it, I think that's weak.
100%.
Yeah,
I think that's weak.
It is weak.
I think that's weak. They're out here. They're supporting the team. Yeah.
Calling out supporters groups for not doing something that you want them to do is soft. And if they want to go and support the team, let them support the team. Like, you want to protest, you protest, but don't call out somebody else because they don't want to protest. Again, I'm with you, Danny. I respect it, but to me, they're just a bunch of Cody crybabies.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I mean, I was going to say the same thing. I think obviously it's easy to look at supporter groups and say, you guys have enough organization to be able to make a bigger impact. So I do understand that aspect.
Right. Be my voice. But what if they don't share the same voice as you?
Well,
what if they like the Leagues Cup? like, why are you saying that they should do it? They like the Leagues Cup, just like I like the Leagues Cup. So,
well, I think, but that's the key here, right? It's like you said, you need to have people that match your perspective in order to have an effective, a loud enough voice, right? You have a lot of people that are in the supporter groups that probably think, you know what? I kind of want my team to be seen by more eyes. I want to be able to support a team who grows in this league along with the league growing at the same time. So I do understand the perspective of people looking at the supporter groups and saying, be my voice. But I also agree in your sentiment that you have to also hope that they agree with your voice as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right. So, I keep freezing.
No, I mean, you're still good. I saw you. You didn't move.
I saw him. Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, I don't know what he did. He just left out. I don't know where he was going. Danny, if you're still back there, I think I could still see you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes,
clearly.
I don't know. Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Yes.
All right.
Very
So
clearly.
we're gonna write it like this, as weird as it may be, because I think streaming
this
the
is
video.
Awful. This is awful. You're like a ghost.
Hey, I know. I feel like now we're back in talk radio. Like, legit, we're back in talk radio, and Danny's the producer back in the station, but we can't see him. You know, it's that's what I feel like.
Yeah.
This is horrible because you guys are lagging on my side now. I can't even hear you right.
Really? I know. I mean, you sound crystal clear. AZ Rebellion saying Don Garber added again. For those of you on audio, by the way, Danny completely removed himself from screen, but I see him in a little box on the bottom. He blacked his own screen out, And he's just kind of like a floating ghost at this point with Solana and I here on the 1s and 2s.
Well,
So
let's jump to Leagues Cup. Maybe it was a mistake that I got on here while I was sick. Maybe this is the way of the universe saying that I should have taken the night off again. All right, so let's get to Leagues Cup. We have 47 teams. The top 2 teams that won the leagues last year get a bye. Now, why is Columbus getting a bye for winning the MLS Cup and Inter Miami not getting a bye for winning the Leagues Cup? I don't care that they won the MLS champs. We won the actual tournament.
Yeah, but they decided the way that they decided the tournament was that the champion of each league was going to get a bye. So that's why
I understand that, but I think it's crap.
I get it, man. I get it, but that's the way it is.
I don't even know. I don't even know what you guys are talking about, to be honest.
Next year,
I kind of got lost because at this point, Stancy says, don't let the ghost talk. It's scary. This is weird because you're talking. The video's still going. Go, Danny. Go.
Next year, the Leagues Cup champ will probably get a bye also because there'll be 30 teams now because of San Diego, which would mean there would be 48 teams. So you'd have to bring it 3 byes in to let 45 teams play in that group stage. So, yeah. And I know this is very awkward for me also, believe me.
Danny, come back to the cat. This really feels weird, honestly. You need to come back.
This helped with my lag. All right.
I mean, it did help with the lag.
I feel like it was all right. All right, but then I'm going to start lagging again. All right, let's try to get through this. All right, so we have 2 games every let me see, did I pull it up here?
Every 5 minutes.
Oh, I didn't pull it up. Give me a sec. Every group has three teams. Play the top 2 teams from each group move on. So
that's right.
Let me pull up the groups here. I thought I had it, man. And let me pull up the groups a second while you guys filibuster, if you could.
Hey, Vok, by the way, saying you don't want to treat the only championship you actually won like it's worth nothing. Noobs. Think like a winning team. Volk, by the way, we also won the Carolina Cup, so go eat it. Okay? Where nobody here is treating the only championship that we won like it's
I think
worth
Volk
nothing.
is on your side.
I know he is.
Why are you insulting him?
But the thing is, I don't want Volk to come in and say noob, thinking like a winning team. Like, I understand.
Maybe he's talking about other people.
Well, he probably is, and I understand his point of view, but I don't think we should be calling people noobs, Volk. I mean, look, the one thing that U.S. Open Cup does have over everything is it does have a history. How great that history is in terms of quality really doesn't matter. And yes, Volk is a very good name, Stancy. Very good name.
This has been a horrible. Let me see. Look, even the image is blurry because of how bad the internet is.
It looks
anyway.
Beautiful.
These are the groups. As you can see, Club America and Columbus Crew have those 2 byes down on the bottom. Now, my question to you guys: we're talking Inter Miami, right? Inter Miami. Do we have a chance to win this? And do you want to win this? That's basically the question for you 2 and the chat. I'll shut up and listen.
I'll go first, bro. Do I want to win? Yes. You know, we were talking about earlier, and we've been talking about all year. As a fan, you want to win every single piece of trophy or piece of hardware that you can win in this calendar year. So yeah, you want to win. Can they win? Yes, I think they can. I think they've shown that they have the depth. If David Martinez is ready to play, he will be a big help back in the back line. And again, it's not a favorable kind of path to the finals that they have, but I think they could definitely win. They could definitely win or get there.
I could definitely see it, Danny. I mean, why not? I mean, just with
my hot take is that Luis Suarez is going to have a Leagues Cup like Messi had last year.
Ooh, I do remember you mentioning that to me. Yes. But look at what Rohan is saying, though, Danny. He's saying save the win for the bigger titles later on.
You never know what's going to happen. Somebody can go down with the injury in late September, early October. All of a sudden, you didn't go all in on the Leagues Cup, and now you're screwed for the cup. You win everything that's right in front of you. go all in on the Leagues Cup. I'm not saying bring Messi back early. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying if Luis Suarez is like, hey, I'm a little sore, play him. No, that's not what I'm saying. But you try to win. Like, I think a lot of people are saying, I don't care about it. Let's take the month off because I feel like they don't feel confident that Inter Miami can win. That's what I think is happening. But I think we could win. I really do. Now, the Liga MX teams are good, right? As we saw with Monterrey when we lost to them. I understand that. But I don't think that it's necessarily impossible for us to make a run or win. I think that it is a possibility, and I hope that they go for it. Yeah, just in case he's available, but he's not going to play in it.
Yeah, how could folks honestly think that Inter Miami doesn't have a chance at all, especially seeing how they've been playing over the last month? Now, it hasn't been the prettiest soccer in the world, but they're finding ways to win every single game that they're in. Scratching it out, it's tooth and nail every single game. And they've gotten what is it, 18 out of 21. So they've won 6 out of their last 7. Most of those without Messi and Suarez. Now, obviously, you don't have Messi, but you have Suarez and you have Matias Rojas, who scored a goal last game and seems like he might be finding his rhythm back. So what makes people think that they can't win this tournament? Remember that there's no ties, so every game goes directly to penalties. So if Inter Miami finds himself in a tough game, they can always play for the tie, as we know Tata likes to do sometimes, and go to penalties. And there you have to feel confident with Drake Callender as your keeper, don't you?
And to be honest, I think that we've been playing in such a way these last 8-9 games that I feel pretty confident that a team without Messi can be able to push through substantial time and give a really good effort and quality of football. So
I don't think many people question our attack. I think the biggest question mark has been our defense.
Well, I mean, that's where David Martinez comes in.
Right. A lot of this is going to lie on David Martinez's shoulders with Toto Aviles. If they could shore up that back line, I don't see why we couldn't be optimistic about going far. Win it all? I don't know. With that being said, if you guys go on the Leagues Cup website, there's a bracket challenge. Okay. And for fun, I figure we fill it out together. Okay. Just so you can see what the possible route would be. Okay. So I'm going to pull it up here. And excuse me, I'm going to turn off my camera for a second, even though I'm not going to be on screen, so it doesn't really matter, just to see if I can help with the lag.
He's going to go into soccer god mode. So as Danny backs out, goes into soccer god mode.
So here we go.
And coughs into the microphone.
Sorry. I forgot.
It's okay.
I'm not on camera.
No worries.
All right. You can see my screen, correct?
Yes.
You can. All right. So here we go. So anybody could do this. You can get on Leagues Cup website. You could do the bracket challenge. I don't know how much money you win if you get it, but then you go to play now, and it shows you every group. You put the order that they'll end in, and then it'll give you the bracket. All right. So let's just quickly run through this. Cincinnati, NYCFC, and I don't know who the heck that is.
That's Querétaro.
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to say Cincinnati 1, right? Querétaro or NYCFC 2?
I'm going NYCFC.
All right, here we go.
Do the same.
So that's the East 1. All right, East 2. We have Orlando. I wish I had this.
Atlético San Luis.
All right, and Montreal. What are we going?
I'm probably with
Orlando. Getting hot. Yeah, Orlando's been getting hot. Atlético San Luis and Montreal.
Okay.
All right.
I'll go with Montreal at the end. Yeah.
All right. East 3. Tigres, Puebla, and Inter Miami. I think Tigres wins this group. I don't think Miami beats them in Houston. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't think so either. That's just me.
I'm with you. Right, I think Inter Miami can beat Puebla, but Tigres away is going to be tough.
All right. East 4. We got Philadelphia, Charlotte, and Cruz Azul. I'm going to go Cruz Azul to win it. Yes?
And then Charlotte and Philly.
All right. There we go. East 5. We got Revolution, Nashville, and help me out there, Solana.
That's Mazatlan.
All right. Tell me how do you want it to line up, Solana?
I'm probably going Mazatlan, Nashville, New England.
All right. Yeah, New England's the worst team in the league right now. All right. Chris, Pachuca, Red Bulls, Toronto.
I mean, it would have to go. Wow, that Toronto's actually. Oof. And Pachuca, they are right now. They're in 12th place.
Now this is important because this is the group that we're gonna play against. So
Yeah.
whoever wins this group is who we would play if we end up in second place in our group.
I would
Chris,
probably
remember, Pachuca might be in 12th place, but they are the current CONCACAF champion winners.
Yeah. I would have to go with I would take a flyer on Toronto being one. Red
What?
Bulls. Yeah, I would
I'm
take
not
a
putting
flyer.
Toronto one. So
All right,
I'm
then
not
I
putting
mean
Toronto one.
Red Bulls would be one then. I mean, just because they're sucky to play against.
Didn't Pachuca just win?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think I'd go Pachuca, then Red Bulls, then maybe Toronto. But
What did the chat say? Because I can't see the chat. Real quick, because this is important.
Right here, you have Rohan saying Pachuca are CCC champs.
Yeah,
Mike V saying Pachuca, Red Bulls, Toronto. Hash saying Pachuca first. Rohan saying Pachuca first.
All right, so we're
Mez
gonna go
saying
Pachuca.
So everybody is going Pachuca.
All right, Pachuca, Red Bulls, Toronto. That's how we're gonna go, and then we'll run through the rest. Let's see, Atlanta. What is it? Santos Laguna, and DC.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Santos, DC, or Atlanta because they both suck and they play each other tomorrow.
It depends where they play. Where are they playing?
I'm not sure. I want to say in Atlanta.
I'll see right now.
They're playing Atlanta.
Atlanta, DC. All right. Let's see. We got Monterrey, Pumas, and Austin. I'm going to go Monterrey, Pumas, Austin. West 2, we have Guadalupe, San Jose, and Galaxy. I think San Jose ends up in third, but who wins? Galaxy or Guadalupe?
No, I go with Chivas.
Huh?
Yeah, Guadalajara. Chivas goes
Guadalajara,
1,
I'm sorry.
Galaxy goes 2, and San Jose 3. Yeah, my boy Cade Cowell. My boy Cade Cowell's is coming in hot.
Yep. All right, so we have St. Louis, Dallas, and
Juarez.
Juarez. Solana, I'll let you choose this one.
Juarez is 15th right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I might go Dallas 1, Juarez, and then St. Louis. I could see that. St. Louis is having a tough year though.
All right, Chris, I'll let you do the next one. Was that Toluma?
That's Toluca. Yep, Toluca, Sporting KC, and Chicago.
I would go Sporting KC. And hold on, let's see where Toluca stands. Toluca is right now they're 5th in the standings. I'd probably put them second, and then Chicago third.
All right,
and
Leon, Portland, and Colorado for the West.
You know
5.
where I'm going, baby.
Oh gosh.
All right, Neville.
We're going Neville, number 1.
All right.
And then that team that you're about to select, they are 14th in the standings. They've had shit games. I'm trying to not curse. They've had 3 ties and a loss recently. So
Leon or Colorado?
I'm going with Leon.
Yeah.
Right, that's the cops coming after me.
No, that's the cops going after Danny to take out his Wi-Fi.
Seattle, Minnesota, and I don't know who the hell that is.
That's Necaxa.
Jamaica.
I mean, really, I don't see Seattle and Minnesota playing that great this year. So I'm inclined to go Necaxa 1, Seattle 2, Minnesota 3. And mainly because they're all, they're not going to have any fans there since they're all boycotting.
Necaxa is 11th place right now in their standings.
Yeah, but those standings are rough because it's only 3 games into the season.
Yeah.
Like everybody's going against me. They're saying Minnesota should top the group. Oof.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. All right, LAFC, Vancouver, or was that Tijuana?
That's Tijuana, yeah.
Isn't that Toluca?
No, Toluca was a couple groups before.
Okay, all right.
LAFC, I'm gonna go 1. Who would I go before these?
Tijuana 17th. Wait, hold on. No, I think I go
Vancouver, man.
Yeah, I'm going Vancouver, and then the final group, I got Houston, Real Salt Lake, and I don't know who that is.
Atlas.
Okay. How do we do?
This?
Real Salt Lake.
We're literally giving no love to these Liga MX teams. Absolutely none.
No, we did, man. Look, you've got Chivas topping the group. You got Tigres topping the
Monterrey.
group, Monterrey, Santos,
Pachuca.
Pachuca,
Alejandro, I'm really trying to not guess. I'm looking at standings, recent games. Like I'm putting. I'm not, I am
But
paying
I
attention,
don't want to.
Stansky.
I don't want to bore people while we're trying to figure this out either.
Nah,
All right.
Chris is also looking at where the nearest Taco Bell or or
like we're trying to
Pizza
find
Hut or
Inter
whatever.
Miami's route. Inter Miami's route.
That's
All
right.
right.
That's right.
So here we go. This is what the knockout stage would look like if it ended up like we put it out there.
Okay.
So now we could start working here. The Inter Miami right here. We would play against Pachuca, right? Now let's say hypothetically we win. We would play against either Toluca or Columbus.
Oh, Columbus.
All right, let's say Columbus. That means we're playing against another MLS team. So can we beat an MLS team? I think so. Am I saying we're going to? No, but I'm just saying we can beat an MLS team. Now let's go right here. Tigres and Red Bulls. All right, let's say Tigres. NYCFC, and again, I don't know who the heck that is, Chris.
Mazatlan, but I'm gonna go with NYCFC. They're on a tear lately.
So there's a chance that we could run into either NYCFC or Tigres right here in the quarterfinals.
Why does this feel like the Copa America draw all over again?
Does it? Oh, because we play Nashville.
Oh, but the Copa America draw where I feel like
Copa America.
Like, how could you play the same team that you just played in your
on
group?
The right side?
But not just the right side. But how could you play the same team you just played in your group in the semifinals or in the quarterfinals again? Like
because the country's so big, they're trying to keep all the Eastern teams on one side.
I know, man, but that sucks, man.
I agree. I'm just here filling this in right now.
I would go between Nashville. Okay, so you're picking them. Fuck Orlando. I think
Charlotte.
I think that Charlotte can be able to pull the win out on the.
All right. So let's say Santa Laguna wins, right? There's a chance. Let's say Cincinnati could be Santa Laguna.
By the way, Santa Laguna, Emerson played for them.
We said that we don't think Tigres would beat Miami. I'm sorry, we don't think Miami would beat Tigres in Houston. They would get a second chance at it. And if they get a second chance at it, let's say hypothetically they win. I'm not saying they will. Let's say hypothetically they do. Right now, what you're looking at is that you have to beat two Mexican teams, Pachuca being one, Tigres being the other. And then you have to beat two MLS teams to make it all the way to the final.
One being the champion and the other one being the team that's behind you in the MLS standings, right?
Now, yes. Now, like Solana said, this isn't an easy draw. Pachuca is good. Tigres are good. And then probably the best two teams in the Eastern Conference, Columbus and Cincinnati. So it's definitely going to be difficult to make it there. But is it possible? I think so.
Even getting first place is complicated, though. Look at Tigres' route, because Tigres doesn't have a walk in the park either. The Red Bulls is a tough team to play against, and then you're going to have to play against again NYCFC, which is on a tear lately, or you'd have to play Mazatlan or something one of those. So either team, it doesn't matter if you get first or second. It's going to be a rough
I will tell you though,
to the semis.
Yes, I agree, but I think that route is easier. I think that we could beat the Red Bulls if we had to play them. I think we could play
two MLS teams. Playing two or three MLS teams in a row is a lot easier than having to play two Liga MX teams and the defending champion and the second place team. So I agree with you 100%, but it's also not an easy road.
No, definitely not. But look at the Tigres. If this would end up this way, the Tigres would literally have to beat 3-4 MLS teams on the way to the final. If Miami were to end up in that spot, they would play against possibly the Red Bulls, the way we did it, and then possibly NYCFC, and then Tigres versus Columbus. Maybe Columbus beats them, and then we would play Columbus, Cincinnati. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm not saying that this is the way it's going to turn out. What I'm saying is that there is, I believe, a chance. There is a route in which it's possible that Miami could make it to the final, could make a run. So let's keep hope alive.
Anthony Mazzano's asking, where did you get the bracket challenge for the Leagues Cup? Because he wants to do one himself.
Literally, leaguescup.com, I believe, is the website.
Yeah, on the top, in the little top area, there's a thing called bracket challenge. Just click it.
It says bracket challenge, yeah.
By the way, just so you guys know, I guess to bring this back around, Lauren says this Leagues Cup will be very competitive this year. Everybody loves to watch competitive games. And that tells you that the U.S. Open Cup games are not going to be as competitive as the League Cup games.
Yeah. And the only reason I brought up that bracket challenge was because I just wanted us to get a visual of the possible route, right? Because everybody's like, F it, let's take a month off. Well, let's hold on. Like, if you end up, and I don't know how they would do it, right? If they beat Puebla by a large margin and they draw with Tigres and somehow beat them in PKs, all of a sudden, you could win that group and you might play against 2 or 3 MLS teams on the way to the semi or final or final. And all of it, that's how we got last year. How many Liga MX teams did we play last year in the Leagues Cup? We literally played only one team.
Yeah.
We played Cruz Azul the first game, and it was just MLS teams all the way through.
Yeah.
It's possible. So I think there's a chance. And I mean, is this the cup that I want the most this year? No. Am I going to be happy if we get it again? Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's another trophy. It's the same trophy, but it's the next year, right?
Yeah. Olympics. Did you guys want to touch on the Olympics a second?
I got a minute for that.
All right. Go ahead. Like I told you, Joe Shaw was at the game. I was talking to him earlier today. He told me that after Argentina scored in like the 15th minute in stoppage time, that the fans, because Morocco was pretty close to France, and the Moroccan fans went pretty crazy because it was 90% Moroccan fans in that stadium. He said that he got out of Dodge immediately because things started going kind of crazy. So what do you have to say about what you saw yesterday, Solana? And the fact that they came back 2-3 hours later to finish 3 minutes.
Yeah. So the first thing, that I have to say, and I've heard it from a lot of people, is it's a little, I don't want to say shady, but when the referee gives 15 minutes of extra time, whether, it deemed necessary or not, especially, I mean, you've never seen that number unless something crazy happens where, the lights go out or they stop the game for something like that. You never see something like that. So already a 2-1 game where you see it's very heated, you're going to give 15 minutes. The fans are going to start getting heated. I understand. And people are going to stay there. It was necessary. I know there was some, fan invasions into the pitch that stopped the game. I know that the Moroccan players were throwing themselves on the floor after the 47th minute, grabbing their legs. So I understand if it was necessary or not, but still 15 minutes, you have, I mean, it's sketchy too. Like if you're in the Colombia-Uruguay game, if the ref would have gave 15 minutes, which he could have, wouldn't you have been like, hey, what the hell?
Look, I've never seen 15 minutes before. Even when there's like a crazy injury and the game stops for 10 minutes, they still don't give more than 10 minutes. I've never seen that before. But Olympics are odd sometimes. But I've never seen more than 10 minutes ever.
I mean, remember, in the World Cup in 2022, we saw a lot of high minutes in injury time, 7-8 minutes. And remember, the Olympics is a tournament that is run by FIFA. And so maybe we're seeing more of that FIFA officiating, I guess you could say. But still, I think the 15 minutes is ridiculous. More than 10 is just too much. And then the fact that I didn't watch the game. And then he scored in the 16th minute. Like it was like 15:30 something is when they scored. And then, I mean, obviously you scored and all hell broke loose after that.
I don't know how accurate this is, but if this is accurate, that they really only played 24 minutes out of the 45.
They played 47 minutes of the 105 minutes. They only played 47 minutes of actual soccer.
That's wild. I mean, 15 minutes is called for, I guess. I just don't understand why they would call it back 2 hours later. That's the part that makes no sense to me.
Here's what happened, and this is where I think the referee did a good thing but a bad thing. So when all hell broke loose, the first thing the referee wanted to do was get everybody off the pitch. So that's why all the players went in, because you want to protect the players and all that. And then what they did was, I believe they got all the fans out of the stadium. Once they get everybody out of the stadium, then they were able to get back on the field and review the play, which was the idea of what they were going to do. But they couldn't review the play before that because there was projectiles being thrown, water bottles or whatever. Fans were rushing into the pitch. So how could you check?
Joe told me he Joe told me he ran out of there as soon as that happened. He saw the way the Moroccan fans were getting, and he took his family and they ran out of the stadium because they started getting
he did the best
awful.
thing possible. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, but so I think it was the smartest thing that they could do. Now, obviously, it's tough to get 20, 30,000 people outside of a stadium in less than an hour, right? I mean, it's tough to get everybody. So before you can get the players back on and review the VAR and all that, I think what the referee wanted to do is make sure that the field was safe for everybody to come back on. It just sucks that it took so long. But if you look at the VAR, he made the right call. I mean, the guy is clearly offsides. It just sucks that it happened, an hour and a half or 2 hours after the game was technically over.
That's
awful. It was 2 hours, and on
top of it, they got robbed the day before. I don't know if you guys
time
heard
is
that.
calculated by VAR.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
The Almada got robbed.
Yeah, Thiago Almada, he had a watch and some other stuff stolen. But yeah, the Argentinian team had their hotel or wherever they're staying at invaded, like a breaking and entering, and they stole a bunch of their stuff. I don't know if you saw the Australia team, their rowing team. They had some of their stuff, I don't know if it was their rowing or their cycling team, one of the two. But they had all their equipment like trashed. Their bus was trashed. Like it's the Olympics is pretty crazy, and they haven't even started yet. Opening ceremonies is tomorrow.
Well, let me tell you something. Makes me feel a little better about us Colombians to hear other people acting out.
I mean, look,
Same thing about the Uruguayo. Same thing. I would feel the same way as well.
Yeah, no, and look, after what had happened, I was heated for a few days, but I got over it, and I understand that all fans are passionate, and in situations like that, especially, with what happened, 15 minutes, you're beating Argentina 2-1. By the way, Argentina didn't deserve to go to that tournament. It's not like they played well. Javier Mascherano has been a terrible coach. So it's not like they deserve to be in that tournament. Look at Paraguay. Paraguay went and they got destroyed too. So the two representatives for South America probably shouldn't be representing South America anyways. But it is what it is.
Off topic from what you guys are talking about. I mean, everybody's saying that Paris is shit. I mean, is it real? I've never been there. I've been wanting to go.
I've never
forever,
been either.
Never been.
I've never been either, but I've heard a lot of people say it's very dirty and a lot uglier than you realize. Like I've seen some images of the Eiffel Tower, but like depending on where you're looking at it, like close by, it's like the slums. It looks like the slums. And again, that's just pictures and videos that I've seen. Maybe somebody's actually been there, can enlighten me in the chat. But that's what I've seen. So
I mean, Stancy's saying way overrated, not just overrated, way overrated.
Now, because we promised for call-ins, I do want to come through with that because we did say we would take call-ins, even though we've gone over our time. We'll take a couple minutes to take some calls, or I mean, technically what you would call calls. So I'm going to drop the link here. If you want to jump on and ask a question, give a comment, whatever it may be, I put the link in the chat. So go ahead, click on that. We'll put you on there. You're not going to get on screen. Just your comment, your question.
You'll be
and
like,
then we'll...
You'll be like a ghost, like what Danny was earlier. We'll have you hidden in a square. Just go ahead and just hit the link right there and call in. We'll have you on. We'll give you a couple, like a minute, a little bit less, a little bit over, just depending. And we want to get your opinions, guys. We want to know what you think about the whole talk with the Leagues Cup versus U.S. Open Cup. Any sort of thoughts that you guys have with that, because that's obviously something that's big on everybody's mind. So
All
here
right,
we have
I see
calling
that.
in the first call. I mean, Danny's already on mute, so I'll go ahead and I'll bring it in. So we have the ghost of Daniel. So Ghost of Daniel, what's going on, my friend?
Hey, yo, what's up, guys? What's up, battered herons?
What's good?
Well, I guess just a random thing. I guess this is just a little short, but those people who are really they're boycotting because they know their team has no chance of winning. Let me just say that.
It's a good point. It's what a lot of people agree with, honestly, the Ghost of Daniel.
Yeah, and congratulations. You just gave away your free spots to the Liga MX fans. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Ghost of Daniel, you came in and you executed your smash with flawlessness, my friend. Much appreciated.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, brother.
That was a drop the mic right there. I mean, he said, "Go boycott so the Mexican fans can buy our tickets."
That's exactly what's happening. They're gonna fill those seats. It's gonna happen, right?
Heck yeah.
So let's and AZ Rebellion is also agreeing. Not gonna lie, that's true. Unfortunately, and Stancy saying that the Mexican fans are gonna fill the seats from the locals. So we
JP,
go over
you gotta
to our
unmute yourself.
yeah, JP, go ahead and unmute yourself. Thank you for hitting us up on the Battered Herons podcast. What's going on, my friend?
Yeah, hi. I'm calling from work right now because I'm outside at my job. I just
Nice.
finished grooming, and I was just
All
listening
good.
to the show on my AirPods as I was grooming because we're closing up right now. And I had a question for you, the three of you. If if Messi confirms it and it's proven that like he's training fully for like at least 2 weeks already, if we're playing in the Leagues Cup final against like America, because that's the team we would have to play if they win out and we win out. It'd be America. Do we play Messi in the final, full 90? Or would you prefer him sit out and risk us losing the Leagues Cup?
Nice. Okay, that's a good question, JP. Much appreciated, man. I guess we'll go with you, Solana. What do you think first?
I mean, I'll tell you this: Inter Miami put him on the roster that they released today. So clearly, they're either putting him on the roster to sell some extra tickets in case they get a little bit further, or they have some inclinations that he could be ready for a final if they get there. Now, if they play America and maybe he's 80-75% ready and they're in the final, I'm pretty sure he's gonna go. Knowing Messi and knowing how he is. Now, if the training staff is gonna let him, that's another question. But I think they put him on the roster for a reason. I don't think they put him there just to sell tickets.
What do you think, Danny?
And I'm gonna just take the producer role from here to the end of the show. I'll handle the phone calls. I think that if they make it to the final and he's healthy enough, 100% he'll play. 100%. If it's the final,
Yeah.
I think he plays.
By the way, JP, much appreciated from calling in from work. I also do believe that he's gonna play. I mean, at that point, if he feels like he's good, nobody knows better than you with your own body, right? So I do feel like knowing your own body, you'll be able to gauge whether you're prepared to play or not. And I guess while we wait for another caller, I just want to mention one thing.
We had Lawrence. Lawrence was on and then he left.
Lawrence, come back, buddy. It's a party here, baby. Come on. So Vice City Lucas is mentioning in the chat, getting fired from work because of the Battered Herons. I mean, because of speaking to Chris on the phone is crazy. It hit me right in my soul when he said that he stepped out because he's sweeping, cleaning up. Like I said, I worked for Publix, and when I worked at Publix, you had to go up and down the aisles and through the ends of the store sweeping before the guy with the most tenure that bagged groceries comes out with his little floating mop truck, which I hated.
Here's the question, Chris. Did you pass the
yes, that same room?
Way? You did it this way, or did you do it the other? Did you drag the broom?
It was the big one that you grab, you push it through.
So you pushed it.
Yes, you have to push it. It's the big one at the end. You got to go through it like a boss.
You're a weird guy, bro. You push your broom, but you pull your cart. You're just a weird guy.
You know what? And I mop backwards, by the way. So we got another caller coming in, and we're gonna go ahead and get to Alejandro. Thank you for calling the Battered Herons podcast. What's going on, brother? I think he's unmuted. No. Let's go, Alejandro. The Battered Herons podcast. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? Can you hear me,
brother? Yeah,
man.
I think he's unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Just turn down the volume a little bit on your wherever you're watching because we can hear playback.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? Man, first of all, guys, you guys are amazing.
Thank you.
Hey, what's going on?
Hold on, I'm gonna So Alejandro, I'm gonna just put you on mute real quick. Just make sure, if you could do me a favor, just turn down the speaker just a smidge, so that way the feedback doesn't come in while you speak in the background, my friend. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that sort of roll through. It'll give us about maybe 5-10 seconds until you can be able to kind of get that going, and then I'll go ahead and I'll bring you right back on. So I'm gonna go ahead and unmute your mic, Alejandro. What's up, brother? Yes, much better, much better.
All right, my bad.
It's all good, all good. I listen. I did the same thing when I would call radio, so much appreciated.
Hey, no, I just wanted to say that you guys are amazing, man. I don't know if you know, I started watching the show ever since I got divorced, and you guys, you guys are like my the light, and then dark. You know what I mean?
Listen, I understand more than you can imagine, Alejandro, and having you around is amazing. So much appreciation.
Hey, but I just
goes
wanted
out
to see
to
if
you too.
we could talk about Cremita, man. Cremita and the Olympics. Like I haven't heard anything about that, about him and how he did, how he did in the Olympics.
Yeah, so USA played yesterday. They lost against France 3-0. I'm not sure if you saw the game or not. But yeah, I didn't get to watch the game.
But did he play? I mean, did he play? Did he do good or what?
Well, from what I understood in the chat, they said that he didn't play. Look, Stancy here saying he didn't play. Other people also said that he didn't play.
He hasn't been playing much, period, with the team before the Olympics.
That's a shame. Yeah.
Damn. All right. Yeah. Thank you guys. I got to see you guys in the stadium. Last time I went there with one girl I was dating. I wish I would have seen you guys.
Listen, come out with another girl that you're dating and come to section 124.
Hey, it's game on now. I'm single, so it's game on.
Let's go, baby. Thank you so much for calling, Alejandro. Much appreciated.
All right, bye.
Thank you, brother. Much appreciated. All right, so Lawrence called a little bit earlier, so we're going to go ahead and bring him back around. Lawrence, again, thank you for taking the time to call the Battered Herons, brother. What's up?
Yeah. Good night, everyone, man. I want to speak about the U.S. Open and everyone, intrigued about the U.S. Open. The thing is, all teams, even all of us, want to play the best teams. There's no one wants to play a lower team, and it's all about competition. Competition brings the best out of players, and also the teams also want to make money. You don't make money on a lower team. You make money playing Real Madrid or Barcelona. You don't make money on Indy 11. So at the end of the day, I know Solana is all for that, but you never see Messi playing third division soccer or second division soccer. He would never go in a league with that kind of level. So I know, yes, it has a lot of history, but at the end of the day, everyone wants to compete, and lower teams don't give you money, because I know for certain if Indy 11 play in Miami, a lot of Miami fans will never go to that game. So
real quick, let me just jump in real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that criticizes the fact that Messi's playing against lower level competition in the MLS, could you imagine them saying that about the MLS and then watching them play against Birmingham, Alabama? Like, if they say that the MLS product is already bad, now we're going to have them watch Messi play against second and third division teams? Like, we can't have that.
Exactly. That's the point. It's all about image. You never see LeBron James playing against college students. I mean, normally if you invite him to his private gym, yes, but you never see an NBA team playing, Alabama or whatever it is.
Well, I mean, there's teams, not only Alabama, because I mean, at least Birmingham is fifth in their standings. Imagine them playing like FC Tulsa, Oklahoma.
I think Don Garber made the right decision in terms of making the MLS Pro teams. Yes, MLS Pro teams and a few MLS teams. Yes, that's the best decision I saw him made so far in the last 2 years.
Nice.
So I agree with that.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I bring up a quick comment here by Mike V? He said, "Bring on Trav for the debate, please." We actually, when this happened, we actually invited him on the show. and then he just never showed up. So we tried.
We did. Listen, Lawrence, that was an amazing thought by you. To be honest, it's something that a lot of people haven't really considered in terms of playing up to the competition. Obviously, teams in the USL would love to play against the MLS, but there's no payoff for us here in the MLS.
Exactly. That's why MLS pairing up with the Mexican League.
Yes,
because obviously they think are there on their level and also generating huge money for MLS and also viewership for Apple and Birmingham and I don't even know the team in the 11 who Apple won't make money on that. I don't know what Apple that's like a free game.
But I like the Open Cup and in the aspect of the history, and I think that they should stay in there if they can expand the rosters. That's the thing. Expand the rosters, and everybody be happy.
Yeah. But here's when you expand the roster, what you think you're doing? You're just bringing in more MLS Pro players. So why not let the MLS Pro players play them?
Yes.
Expanding the rosters, you're not gonna make Messi. Messi's not gonna play. The only reason Messi played is that they were in the semifinals, and he probably saw a trophy. But outside of that, Messi won't play.
Yeah. No, Lawrence, listen, much appreciated for the call in, man. And thank you for calling back since the first time it got disconnected, but much appreciated. Really, really good stuff there. Now, listen, he made really good points there, Solana, in terms of the comparison, between the competition and the quality. I'm pretty sure you voiced the same thing a little bit earlier when we were talking about that.
Yeah, man. I just don't think that that there's any value to having, Messi play against FC Tulsa, or even taking it a step lower than that, because it's possible that an MLS team, because of the cup sets that everybody likes, that they could play a team that a USL team loses to a lower division team, and you have Inter Miami playing one of those teams. And it's like, are you really going to play Sergio Busquets and Alba? No, but you know what? It's a great opportunity for, a Noah Allen that doesn't get a lot of minutes, for a Franco Negri that doesn't get a lot of minutes, for a Ryan Saylor that doesn't get a lot of minutes to play. And I think that's what you saw in the first two iterations of when Inter Miami played the U.S. Open Cup with Phil Neville at the helm. That's kind of what you saw, because you saw him rotate some players. You saw Mabika play. I remember in the first year we played, I think the starting center backs were Mabika and Damian Lowe. And then, it was just the young players were playing, and it was better. I thought it was cooler. Now, the young players back then weren't as good as the young players now. So the team suffered both games that they played against them. If they were to do that against this team now, this team would destroy Miami FC.
Yeah. I'm hoping that we could be able to take at least one or two more calls.
We'll take one more. We'll take Hemi that's been waiting, and we're almost at an hour and a half. So we're gonna kind of show it real quick. Bring on Tactical Manager. We actually had him on last year, and I was actually on his podcast talking U.S. Open Cup on his show a couple months ago. So I don't know how you would find it. You guys scroll back and look for it. I know he does a bunch of Open Cup videos, so I don't know which one, but one of them I was on there debating that with we're not really debating, we're talking my piece about the Open Cup. So but we have had him on. But let's take Hammy.
We'll take one more call. Hammy, thank you for calling. Let's mete mano, baby. What's up, Hammy?
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's
chilling, man.
Nice to call in. It's I'm trying to think of something serious to say for once, but it's kind of
it wouldn't be fun if you said something too serious. Come on, Hammy.
Yeah. Hey, so to go off of what Cool Running said in the last call, he said something about the Open Cup, and my question is, why is it like last year? I feel like the Open Cup, it went straight to the semifinals, but there was like no other games leading up to that point. So I'm not quite sure how it understands. I'm kind of new to following the MLS.
Yeah.
So, I just like a little more clarification on the Open Cup and how it works.
Well, I mean, it's a good question, Hammy. Typically, at least with the Open Cup, the way that I've seen it is you have, I mean, what is it, Solana? It's basically like just a random hodgepodge put together in terms of like how the bracket is made. First, they put
Yeah.
you to play like in-state rivals, or like I guess whoever technically would be the rival. And then at that point, you start sort of spurring into the same area, the general area.
That's correct. Yeah, I mean, it's basically 80 teams, and it's a mix of some MLS teams, some MLS Next Pro teams, USL League One, NISA, USL2, NPSL. Like I said, a bunch of different, even to like adult amateur leagues to that point.
Yeah.
So there's qualifications all through there. You got to qualify, and then just like Chris said, it's basically done by region. So when I would play, basically we would have to play, Miami United, which is one of the teams that plays down here in one of those leagues, Red Force, like I said, and things like that. And then if you were to beat these teams, then you would go play the Miami FC, or you would play, maybe Orlando FC or Tampa Bay Rowdy, something like that. So that's how you kind of eliminate yourselves, and then you get into the later rounds. The issue, and Hammy said it, man, and we talked about it at the beginning of the show, is nobody knows that the tournament is going on. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
So until the semifinals, that's really when when they say, "Oh my God," because at that point you have usually 4 good teams left and you can promote it. But nobody's, like I said, nobody's gonna watch a Sacramento Republic versus Loudoun United FC game. Like nobody's gonna watch that.
Yeah,
no, of course not. And I think the issue is that it's not broadcasted either, and it's so difficult to watch. Like you said earlier, you have to go through sketchy links and XNXX and stuff like that, and it doesn't work. So I think maybe if, that was my comment. I was just going to be kind of brief about it, but I just want to thank you guys for making this podcast, always make it enjoyable, and just always having a blast, and just making MLS accessible for everybody. So thanks,
awesome.
guys.
No, thank you, Hammy. Really, it's much appreciated for you getting on, kicking it with us, and showing support. And we thank you for the kind words, for sure, man. It's kindly appreciated. I mean, in terms of like, I'll tell you right now, with the Open Cup, it just doesn't seem like it's structured very well. It doesn't seem like they consider, I guess the way that the competition is sort of pitched out, so that way it fall. And I'll tell you, look, I was actually happy with Sacramento playing against Orlando, because Sacramento is a team that seems formidable out of the USL, right? And I thought that it was very funny to watch how Orlando was essentially like filming or like doing stuff behind the scenes to be able to figure out what kind of plays they run and stuff. Like, it shows that there are teams in the USL and the lower division that do sort of pose a threat. So it's not to take away anything from all the USL teams or any of the lower level teams, but like, generally speaking, we kind of want to excel in our projection in football. And I think that the US Open Cup doesn't really help us with that.
Yeah, no, I mean, you nailed it on the head. And I don't know if the folks know yet, but I think we lost Danny.
Yes.
Apparently he had, somebody cut the wire from his Wi-Fi outside his house, I guess, because he said everything just completely, got destroyed over there. So, but I'll leave you with another stat, bro. I love leaving you guys with stats, but did you know Inter Miami is not the only Miami team to make a U.S. Open Cup final last year, but the Miami Fusion also made it to the U.S. Open Cup final and lost in the year 2000. So, so there you go. A little bit of Miami soccer trivia for you.
Nice. That was a good stat to drop at the end of the show. So while you and I wrap this puppy up, because Danny is getting assassinated by Garber and his goons, what are your last thoughts before we go ahead and wrap this up, Solana?
My last thoughts are: don't boycott. Go out there, support your team, support Inter Miami, support your local team. Just get out there and don't let the Mexican fans buy up all the tickets. and make this their spectacle. Let's make this an MLS spectacle, and let's keep the trophy hopefully in Miami.
Yes. Listen, I would love to have that trophy. Obviously, I want every single trophy that's possible out there. And if we still have the opportunity to get it with Messi, without Messi, we need to push forward and support the team. So I'm pretty sure this isn't going to be the end of this conversation. There's going to be a lot of rumblings throughout the next couple days, couple weeks. So we'll probably have some more opportunities to have this conversation with other people if they want to join as well. But I guess just to wrap things up, listen, guys, if you've been listening on audio, I'm sure you've had a blast listening to us talking a bunch of crap and listening to the calls. Much appreciated. Please do 5 stars, like and comment, put down, Danny, you need new Wi-Fi. Don't get assassinated by Don Garber. Try to remember all of that if you can. For those of you that were kicking it with us in the chat, listen, you guys are the best part of the show. Hammy, at the end, you said that you appreciate us and for what we do. Listen, I'll tell you right now, and I can speak for Solana and I can speak for Danny, who is the ghost of soccer right now. You and everybody in the chat are literally the reason that we have so much fun doing this and the reason that we do this with you guys so often. It's the best time. It's the best, time that we have doing it with you guys. So much appreciated. Guys, if you haven't done so, like the video. It takes like 3 seconds. It's literally free 99. And if you got friends that enjoy this stuff, let them know to come catch us, Battered Miami fans. We also have the Battered MLS fans channel. There's a bunch of other Battered channels if you want to check them out, if you like other kind of balls. And other than that, guys, listen, again, much appreciated. We'll be seeing you guys on Saturday in the post game for the game on Saturday. So until the next one, fellas, ladies, have a good one.
See ya.